We've made a lot of mistakes during our lap of Australia.
And honestly, most of them could have been avoided.
If we had our chance again, there are definitely some things we'd do differently.
So today, we're going to share the lessons we've learned so you don't have to make the same mistakes.
So here's 10 things we wish we knew before starting our lap of Australia. So number 1, the seasons and our route. So we didn't realise just how much the time of year you travelled could change your experience in a place. Up north, you've got something called the wet season, and that's during the Northern Territory, Northern Queensland's summer.
We started our lap in Victoria in April, and then we travelled up the east coast, pretty much dead winter, and it was freezing, not the way you want to start your lap. We hit the Northern Territory just before wet season hit. WA, we did pretty well.
I think
we were in pretty perfect weather.
Yeah.
But then South Australia, we travelled in the winter again.
We're back in the cold. Our ideal route around Australia would stay anti-clockwise, but we'd start in Victoria/Tasmania and do that in the summer, and then go across the top just before the wet season starts. So you've got like August to September. The wet season normally starts around about October. As you get down to the south coast, you're pretty much coming back into summer. So you're in ideal conditions.
Yeah. You definitely need to plan more than we did which season you're going to hit which place, because we didn't plan. We just left when we were ready and had enough money to leave. So number 2 is solar power. Now, I think this might be one of, if not the biggest mistake that we made.
I think it's the biggest.
We went into the King store and we bought ourselves a big 250 watt solar panel. It cost us $360, and we thought it was big enough to literally power all of our stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Even with clouds, it will charge slightly, but
Slightly.
so slow.
So slow, like unbelievably slow. So you need perfect sun. Some days we would have perfect sun, so we'd have to stop and just do nothing whilst our battery charged. And this would only give us really sufficient power for the next day. And when our power ran out, we'd have to turn off the fridge freezer. We'd have to throw out food because the fridge didn't work, and it was just chaos.
It was a nightmare.
So as we got towards Cairns, we actually had a few comments that suggested and recommended a new system, and this system was called a DC-DC charger.
Yeah.
And what this does is charges your battery from your main car battery whilst you drive.
Game changer.
Oh my gosh, this changed our lives.
Yeah.
Changed our lives. So when we found out about the DC-DC charger, we marched back into King's and we bought ourselves a 25 amp charger, and that cost us $208. Now you may be wondering, wait, isn't that cheaper than the solar panel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's better than the solar panel. So my question to the King's crew is, why on earth didn't you just suggest this to us in the first place? But don't get us wrong, sometimes you do need the DC-DC dual battery system and the solar panel.
Yeah.
So if you're going like super remote and you're stationary for a while, solar power is a good option because you're not going to be starting your car and driving and charging your battery every day. So number 3, spend more on things you use every day. So it took us way too long to realize that if we use something daily, that we should spend more money and get something actually good. So a few examples that pop straight into my head are the Kmart stove that we have. It's got one like gas.
It's got one
top.
burner, yeah. I've made do with it, but it's the bane of my life. It's just annoying. Like if I had 2 stove tops, life would be way easier.
You know, cooking should be, because you do it every day, you want to make it as enjoyable as possible. The second thing that comes to mind are chairs, and this goes hand in hand with cooking, because when you cook, the majority of the time we're sat down in a chair. We started off with the worst chairs in existence, and I'm pretty sure they probably cost $2 off Facebook Marketplace. We've now upgraded to King's, what are they called, like lounge chairs.
Thrones. Actually, yeah.
It was one of the best purchases I think we've made.
Yeah.
And we got 2 of them for $100.
I look pretty comfy, don't I?
You look so comfy on that chair.
Because I am.
Now the third thing for us that we should have spent more money on from the start is sleeping bags. So we started off with, they're long gone now, but we started off with sleeping bags that quite frankly didn't even keep us warm. So these 2 sleeping bags that we have now are from Audi. They're built for cold weather. They have hoods so they don't slip down whilst you sleep, and they're just, all round more comfy. Invest in your sleeping bag, if you sleep in a sleeping bag that is, or just get some covers. Doona.
A doona.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
A doona.
So number 4 is travel burnout. So no one really talks about how tiring full-time travel can be and how quickly it affects your mood, your routine, and your relationship.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Because you are the relationship that it affects.
When you're on the road full-time, you are constantly moving, you're constantly setting up, you're constantly packing down. As much as you think you'd have time for yourself, you actually end up not having as much time as you think you would on the road.
Honestly, it feels like you're just constantly in survival mode. Like your subconscious, even if you think you're relaxed, your subconscious is always just on high alert traveling like we do. I mean, I would do it again in a heartbeat, but
obviously this can then cause tension within yourself, which then ultimately causes tension between each other. What we wish we did before we started was discuss this and discuss how each other work in those situations.
Boundaries.
Yeah, I know it's hard because we hadn't ever done it, so we didn't really know how it was going to work. But we wish we had discovered earlier than we did how to work together when we were having bad days.
For me, I need to be left the hell alone. I need to just calm myself down and chill by myself. But you're very much like, you want to sort it out there and then talk about it.
Yeah. So we have to find a middle ground.
We have to find a middle ground. And I think that's so common in relationships when you're traveling.
And don't let it ruin your trip, because it happens. You're going to argue. You're going to have disagreements, but don't let that be the face of your trip. Mm-hmm. And when you are planning your travel days, just remember to plan in down days and have days where you're just doing nothing that allow you to reset and just get ready to go again. I think that's what we failed to do. Number 5, planning too much. Now, I wish we realized that we didn't need to plan every single hour of every single day, because that turns a fun trip into a military mission.
Don't get us wrong, you definitely need to plan things somewhat in advance. So you need to know what there is to do in each location. Just leave it at that. Book an experience in advance if it fills up quickly, yes.
You need to be flexible. Mm-hmm. You never know when a plan's going to change. And it might not just be good things, it might be bad things, like your tyre might pop.
Yeah.
Or something might go wrong with your setup and you have to wait around for a couple of days. And if you have everything planned day by day, you don't have room for error.
Yeah.
And you don't have room for enjoyment, to be honest with you. The best way for us to plan is by making a list of things and then just doing them all in our own time. And I just wish we realized this sooner, because we have a diary that we wrote in when we first started, and it had everything we were doing, everywhere we were staying, day by day. And this turned our freedom into just work.
Mm-hmm. So number 6 is free camping. We were so scared of free camping at the start. We would only stay in caravan parks, and we spent so much money on it. But free camping is not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
And it saves you so much money.
Don't get me wrong, it's nice to stay in a caravan park. You have a shower, but it obviously costs you money. I think the most expensive caravan park we've stayed in is $70. So if we had started free camping earlier, we could have saved ourselves hundreds of dollars. But I do think free camping is easier for us than it is for people in caravans, just because sometimes they're smaller, they're not as easy to access. So I understand why people with larger setups would choose to go in a caravan park.
So I think the reason we were so scared of free camping was because the security or lack thereof.
If you can see that it's slightly dodgy and you don't feel so good, just leave. Just go somewhere else, go to a caravan park. Don't put yourself in an unsafe situation. But the majority of free camps that we've stayed in have been safe. The way we find our camps is through an app called Wikicamps, and I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of this app if you're camping in Australia by now. But it is so good because pretty much all the time the camps on there, the free camps on there, are legal. So number 7 weather conditions. Now, we wish that we were more aware of weather conditions from the start, because it would have saved us 2 awnings.
Yeah.
You need to be looking at the weather constantly if you're on the road, because you never know, especially in Australia, when there's going to be really heavy rain and floods, whether there's a fire risk at the moment, wind warning if you're staying by the coast. We have lost 2 awnings.
One was
to the wind in Wilson's prom. We left it out overnight, tied down, and the wind was just crazy fast.
Completely snapped a metal pole in half.
The second one was down to heavy rain that we weren't expecting. We left our awning out overnight, and the rain was so heavy that it pulled within the awning, and the awning just collapsed because it got so heavy.
And snapped. So number 8 is the Outback. So the Outback actually isn't as bad as people think. I, for one, planned a trip to Mars every time we went to the Outback. Didn't need to do that. It's way more accessible than people think, as long as your car can handle where you're going, and obviously depending on how outback you're going. If you're going super duper remote, then it's a bit different, but like the main areas of remoteness in the Outback, pretty accessible, pretty easy.
Not too bad. So we're not saying don't prepare. Obviously prepare, but prepare the right things. I think the main things to prepare for are knowing where you're going to get fuel and making sure you have enough fuel.
Yeah.
Water, making sure you have enough water, so if something does go wrong, you can, extend the amount of time that people have to find you. And then something that we have, it's actually just in there if you want to grab it. It's called a PLB, a personal location beacon. And this thing does cost a bit of money, but if we were to get lost somewhere in the outback and something was to go wrong, we would just press a button and it would alert authorities to come and save us with our location. So I'd encourage anybody traveling anywhere that's even remotely remote, take one of these with you. They're so worth it. I mean, even if you never use it, what
it's
if you
there
need
for you.
to? Yeah. What if you need to?
And the peace of mind it gives
exactly.
you is so priceless.
These do expire though. This one expires on October 2027, so just make sure once you're buying them, you can get them from like BCF or the Go Outdoors shops, so make sure the one you're buying isn't expired. I think our main outback experience was through Queensland to Mount Isa and up towards Darwin. The main thing we found on that road was that we were never alone. We were always around other people, and they're more than often actually willing to help.
Everyone's in the same boat, so everyone's they get it.
What I would say is, if you can, try and stick to a main road, not a dirt track, because I mean, if your car can handle it, the majority of the dirt tracks in the outback are 4-wheel drive only. And it's not just 4-wheel drive, because we, bless our car, have a 4-wheel drive. We just don't have the clearance. So I would say, yes, you need a 4-wheel drive, but what people don't tell you, and what we wish we knew, you need to have clearance on your car. Now, we'll show you the clearance on this car, and it's restricted us from going to a lot of places.
It's rubbish. So if you look under here, this exhaust box has stopped us from going to many places because the clearance is just not there.
The rest of the car kind of has clearance. You can't even see underneath it. That's how close it is to the floor. So it doesn't give us much wiggle room when it comes to 4-wheel drive tracks,
not
does
at
it?
all.
Number 9, talk to strangers. We wish we knew how much better our experience could have been if we had started making friends and talking to people sooner than we did. Well, I think coming from England, people in England don't tend to speak to each other as often as people from Australia do, but we found through traveling that actually your experience can be enhanced so much by just making friends and, maybe traveling with them or just spending a night with somebody at a campsite. Just don't be scared. If you're cooking next to someone or if you're parked next to someone, just say hello. And what works for us is, where are you from? And that just kickstarts a whole conversation, and the conversation may end just after that happens, or you may make a friend that you travel with for 3 months, which has happened to us. And some of our best memories have been when we were traveling
with people,
with friends. And finally, number 10, overpacking. And actually, I think it's a rite of passage to overpack when traveling Australia. And if you're shuffling around 20 things just to get your cereal out in the morning, you've probably packed too much.
100%.
Should we try? So we are absolute culprits of overpacking. This is how much we have to move to get out a box of cereal. There we go. So how many things was that? 1, 2, 3,
4.
I wish we knew what we actually needed for the trip. And I guess it's hard to know what you're going to need for a trip before you are on the trip, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
I'd say I'm okay. I didn't pack too much. There's one notable thing that I packed that I haven't used once.
And yours is actually might be one of the worst things as well. It's one thing, but it's the worst.
And it's huge. So I packed a guitar.
You literally thought you'd be sat around a campfire every night playing your guitar.
Yeah. We don't even make fires. We don't even have campfires. I'm not the only one that's guilty.
No, you're not.
Josie, I think half the stuff in this car is Josie's.
Oh, 100%. Like, I packed far too many clothes. We rotate. Look, there's no shame in this, guys. We obviously wash things along the way. But we rotate the same outfit all the time.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 outfits, maybe even sometimes 2 outfits, every other day.
And if you need more clothes along the way, guess what? There's an op shop at every corner to buy whatever you need.
What Josie hasn't mentioned is her shoes. She's probably got 6 pairs of shoes in this car.
Yeah.
You only need 2.
I wear Crocs every day.
You need a pair for exploring, like walking boot. I mean, Josie doesn't even do that. Josie just wears Crocs for exploring. But I wear my walking shoes for exploring, and then I have a pair of Crocs. They're the only 2 pairs of shoes that you need.
So those were the 10 things we wish we knew before starting our lap of Australia.
Some of them cost us time, some of them cost us money, and some of them we just had to learn the hard way.
So if you're planning your own lap, hopefully this helps you avoid some of the same mistakes.
And if you've already done your lap of Australia or you're on your lap of Australia, let us know in the comments if there's anything we missed that other people might benefit from knowing. So be sure to subscribe to the channel because next week the vlogs are returning. And if you haven't seen a vlog, because I think many of you have just come from last week's video.
Yeah, welcome.
Go back to episode 1. Firstly, welcome. Secondly, go back to episode 1 and binge watch everything so you're ready for next Monday when we arrive in Bunbury. We technically do in vlog time.
Yeah, in vlog time we arrive in Bunbury.
But if you have enjoyed these type of videos, let us know, and who knows, we might be making more in the future.
It's definitely been a different and fun vibe, but I'm also looking forward to the vlogs coming back.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see you next week
See ya.
in Bunbury.